Today, I want to share 3 strategies that have helped me and others I know stay motivated when the environment feels less than motivating. Hey everyone, Terry here. I was talking to a friend last week who's been in the tech industry for almost a decade, and he said something that really stuck with me. He goes, the industry just feels different now. Like, I used to wake up feeling excited about work, and now I'm just trying to survive. And honestly, I get it. The tech industry today feels like a completely different place than it was even 5 years ago. We've got really aggressive with performance management, constant layoffs hanging over everyone's heads, and this culture that sometimes feels more like a pressure cooker than the creative playground it used to be. But here's the thing, and this might sound counterintuitive, I still think that you can find motivation and even enjoyment in your tech job. You just need to approach it differently. Today, I want to share 3 strategies that have helped me and others I know stay motivated when the environment feels less than motivating. Look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that everything is fine or that you should just think positively. The challenges are real. The industry has shifted, and pretending otherwise is just blindly lying. But here's what I've learned. Motivation isn't just a feeling that happens to you. It's actually a skill you can develop. And the key is learning to work with the current environment, not against it. Think about it this way. You have a finite amount of mental and emotional energy every day. You can spend that energy being frustrated with how things are, or you can spend it figuring out how to thrive within the system as it exists now. The 3 strategies I'm going to share with you today are all about that second approach. All right, strategy number 1, start thinking about your workplace like it's a game. Now, before you roll your eyes, I know this sounds a bit silly, but stick with me here. Every workplace has some rules. Some are written down in your employee handbook, but most of them, they're unspoken, like how decisions are actually getting made, what behaviors get rewarded, who really has influence, what metrics really matter. When I was at my last company, I spent probably 6 months being frustrated because I thought the rules were one thing when they were actually something completely different. I thought good code and meeting deadlines was what matters. Turns out being visible in the right meetings and having your work align with whatever the leadership wants, that's actually what moved the needle. Once I figured that out, everything changed. I wasn't bitter about it, I just adjusted my strategy. Here's the cool part about the gaming analogy. People play games for totally different reasons. Some people are super competitive. They want to climb the leaderboards. Others are explorers. They want to see every corner of the map and try every feature. Some people just want to relax and have a good time. So first, figure out what type of player you are. Are you competitive? Do you want to move up the ranks, get promoted, maybe become a manager? Then your strategy is going to be about visibility, taking on high impact projects, building relationships with leadership. Are you more of an explorer? You love learning new technologies, diving deep into interesting problems? Then your game strategy might be about seeking out the most technically challenging projects, volunteering for the cutting edge stuff, maybe contributing to open source. Or maybe you're someone who just wants to do solid work, collect your paycheck, and have a good work-life balance. That's totally valid too. Your strategy might be about efficiency, getting really good at your core responsibilities so you can check out at 5 p.m. guilt-free. The point is, once you understand the actual rules and you know what type of player you are, you can optimize your approach. You're not just randomly hoping that things will work out. You're playing the game strategically. Strategy number 2, create your own reward system because the traditional one is basically broken. Here's the problem with relying on external validation in most tech jobs. The feedback loops are way too long. Projects take months or years. Promotions happen once a year, maybe, and company recognition is inconsistent at best, but it's actually worse than that in tech. Even when you are finishing your projects, the finish lines keep moving. Delivery timelines shift constantly. Roadmaps get completely rewritten based on new priorities from leadership. You'll spend 3 months building something only to have the requirements change or the project deprioritized entirely. I learned this the hard way on a project that took 8 months to ship. 8 months, but here's the kicker. Halfway through, the business requirements changed completely. Then the timeline got moved up. Then it got pushed back. By the time we actually shipped, the original problem that we were solving for wasn't even a priority anymore. And for most of that time, I had no idea if what I was building was actually good or if it was going to matter at all. By month 6, I was completely burned out, not because the work was hard, but because there was no wins along the way and the finish line kept moving. So now I create my own milestones and I celebrate them. And I mean actually celebrating them, not just mentally checking them off the to-do list. Like, got your code review approved? That's a win. Write it down. Figured out a tricky bug that everyone else couldn't figure out. That's a win. Had a stakeholder meeting that actually went well and people understood what you were explaining. Definitely a win. I keep the Notes app open on my laptop where I write down these daily or weekly wins. And here's the key part. I actually reward myself for them. Sometimes it's small, like getting my favorite boba or taking a longer lunch break. Sometimes it's bigger, like buying something that I've been waiting for a month or planning a weekend trip after finishing a major milestone. The point is, I'm not waiting for my manager or my company to recognize my progress. I'm tracking it down myself and celebrating it myself. And here's something that might sound obvious, but took me way too long to figure out. You should share your wins. Don't wait for other people to notice them. If you solved a complex problem, mention it in your next one-on-one. If you shipped something cool, share it in the team channel. If you helped a colleague with something, bring it up during performance review time. I used to think that good work could speak for itself, but honestly, everyone is way too busy to notice unless you help them notice. Strategy number 3, and this one is a bit more subtle. You need to protect your emotional energy like it's a finite resource, because it is. I've noticed something interesting over the years. The people who complain the most about their jobs, they're usually the ones who stick around the longest. And I think I know why. When you constantly vent and complain to other people, you're essentially offloading your emotional burden onto them, which means you never actually have to deal with the weight of your own frustration. Meanwhile, the people listening to you, they are absorbing all of that negativity and it's draining their energy. I went through a phase where I was the person everyone came to vent to. I thought I was being a good colleague, a good friend. But what actually happened was I started feeling terrible about my own job, even when my own experience was actually pretty good. I was spending too much emotional energy processing other people's problems that I had none left for my own growth, my own projects, or my own motivation. So now I'm much more intentional about this. I still care about my colleagues, but I focus on my own actual experience, not the collective narrative. Instead of asking, how is everyone feeling about the company? I ask myself specific questions. Am I personally being treated fairly? Are my projects interesting? Is my manager supportive? Am I learning things that matter to me? Sometimes the answer to those questions is no, and that's valuable information as well. But often, I realize that my actual situation is better than what the general mood suggests. Here are some practical boundaries I've learned to set. I limit how much time I spend in channels or conversations that are just people complaining. I redirect negative conversations when I can. And I don't doom scroll company blind. And when someone wants to vent to me, I'm still compassionate, but I don't let it become a regular dumping ground. I might say something like, that sounds really frustrating. Have you talked to your manager about it? Or, what do you think your next step might be? To make sure that they're thinking about the more important things than just venting. The goal isn't to be unsympathetic, it's to be strategic about where your emotional energy goes. So let me bring all of this together with something that I do every Friday. I call it my weekly motivation audit. It takes maybe 5 minutes, but it's been really helpful for staying on track. I ask myself 3 questions. First, am I playing by the right rules for my goals? Maybe I've been focusing on the wrong things, or maybe the rules have shifted and I need to adjust. Second, what did I celebrate this week? If I can't think of anything, that's a red flag that I need to create better milestones. And third, where did my emotional energy go? Was I spending it on my own growth and challenges, or was I absorbing other people's stress and frustration? Now, I want to be clear about something. These strategies aren't about accepting a bad situation or lowering your standards. If the fundamental rules of your workplace don't align with your values, if you're genuinely being treated poorly, if there's no path for growth, then it might be the time to look elsewhere. But if you are in a decent situation that just feels harder than it used to, then these approaches can help you find motivation and satisfaction while you're there. The thing is, building resilience and motivation is like building any other skill. It takes practice. And the stronger you get at it, the better you'll be able to handle whatever changes come next in this industry. Because let's be real, this probably isn't the last time that the tech industry is going through a dramatic shift. Having the tools to stay motivated regardless of the external environment, that's not just helpful for your current job, that's a career-long asset. So here's what I want you to take away from this. First, treat your work like a game. Figure out the actual rules, decide what type of player you are, and optimize your strategy accordingly. Second, create your own reward system. Don't wait for external validation. Track your own progress and celebrate your own wins. And third, guard your emotional energy. Focus on your specific situation, not everyone else's complaints. The tech industry might be changing, but your ability to find motivation and meaning in your work, that's still completely under your control. I'm curious, what type of player are you at work? Are you competitive, exploratory, social, or something else? Drop a comment below and let me know. I read all of the comments and I love to hear about your experiences. And if this is helpful, hitting that subscribe button really helps the channel. I'm planning to make more videos about practical career advice for people in tech. So if that's helpful to you, I'd love to have you on the ride. Thank you so much for watching. Stay motivated, and I'll see you in the next one.